your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like. It's your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like.
This is for you, Leo. March is the month of the angelic frequencies of the gemstone Aquamarine. Your birthstone is Peridot, Leo, so what we need to do is see how these two gemstones resonate one with the other. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. To visit my website at www.readingsbyrosemary.com, you can get there through Facebook, you can get there through Google, and there we give you information on how you can contact us for information regarding psychic astrology, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, as well as classes and our upcoming seminars. Now, March's gemstone of Aquamarine has the light emanations of the astrology archangel Omnitziel, and your zodiac sign gemstone of Peridot has the properties of light bestowed by the zodiac archangel Virchiel. Your ruling planet is the Sun, Leo. Sunstone, citrine, ruby, amber, and red garnet, also yellow tiger's eye, are the precious stones used to align oneself with the energies of the planetary angel Michael, or Michael, who's assigned to the planet Sol in Kabbalah, since this angel supplies varying levels of correction towards what I like to call an individual's personality matrix, or their ego matrix, and that's the very definition of Hasatan. Archangel Michael fortifies the soul, feeding it from the seeds of philosophical gold made abundant through daily and moment-by-moment crucifixion of the ego. It's important to remember that introversion, bashfulness, and shyness are a construction of light, and this type of personality restriction is therefore the largest expression of one's own ego, because it implies that people are observing you, when in reality they are actually only looking at and thinking about whom? Themselves. Therefore, be mindful of your own inner soul power, or sun power, when utilizing these potent gemstones in unison with each other. The archangel of the sun, who is Michael, commanded by God in Daniel 12:1-3, "But at that time shall Michael rise up, the great prince who standeth for the children of thy people. And a time shall come such as never was from the time that nations began, even until that time. And at that time shall thy people be saved, every one that shall be found written in the book, and many of those that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some unto life everlasting, and others unto reproach, to see it always. But they that are learned shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that instruct many to justice as the stars for all eternity." Remember that Michael is the archangel of the sun, but he's also the angel of the south, or of the element of fire. The sun is known as the attribute of God the Son, found in John 1:4, "In him was life, and the life was the light of men." Your fire guardian archangel Michael speaks to you from your Leo astrology archangel Virchiel. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Leo zodiac angel Virchiel, who resides over the lion's fixed fire nature, and these are his messages for you in the areas of love, money, and health. Also, with Virchiel, remember, the guardian archangel Michael also is important when calling up these types of angelic frequencies or types of archetypal energies. For Virchiel's love and rapture and romance transmission first, the golden yellow angelic light frequencies of Virchiel, combined with exhilarating healing oscillations emanating from freshly relaxing vibratory pulses from the gemstone of Aquamarine invigorate your romantic relationships due to provisions made by divine providence through this birthstone's privileged spiritual inheritance. Enjoyment of a precise permutation of zodiac angel Amethyst's natural 12th house attributes, in addition to your own Leo energies, bestows to you overflowing qualities of heartfelt personal associations with the traditional zodiac sign of Pisces because of the enhancing, cool, and subtle light beams that sparkle forth from a gem which reserves delightful experience for the holder of such a gemstone. Through a refreshment, really, of the heart chakra, thus causing great delight in physicality via interdimensional communication made possible through harmonizing within the third eye, the crown chakra, and the sacral or third chakra. The sacral chakra, actually, the second chakra. Yeah, the third chakra is actually the solar plexus, and the sacral chakra is actually the second, the more creative chakra, which has the color of orange. Now, regarding Virtual's money and wealth transmission, finances show overflowing abundance for those who spend time getting to know economic principles as well as how to woo money's fickle spirit into a well-prepared lair. That which is below corresponds to that which is above, and that which is above corresponds to that which is below, as is stated in the great alchemical work, the Emerald Tablet, which is attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. While we're on the subject of the Emerald Tablet and talking about the Sephira of Keter and Malkuth and the alchemical formulas and sort of a yin and yang principle, really, same thing, where you have that which is below and above being the same, and that which you have Keter and Malkuth and Keter, which we're going to get to a little bit later on. But for now, it's important to remember that there are 4 worlds in Kabbalah. In Rosicrucian Kabbalah, it's taught that there are, yes, 10 Sephira, but there are 4 worlds. And there are 32 paths. If you add the paths between the 10 Sephirot, you end up with, if you add the 22 paths and the 10 Sephirot, you get 32 paths. And it's the paths of wisdom. And so the 4 worlds encompass several of the Sephira. Like the top world encompasses the supernals. So you have, for the 4 worlds of the Kabbalah, you have king, queen, prince, princess. You have Yod, He, Vav, He, and that's for Aries. Yod, He, Vav, He is the permutation of the name of that particular Hebrew god of Yod, He, Vav, He. That's for Aries. That's for that permutation, and that's for that Hebrew month. We're not going to get into the Hebrew months right now, but just understand that the reason it overlaps in the Western calendars is because in the Eastern calendars and in Egypt, which Moses brought this from Egypt, where this is gotten from, these astrological associations, where they originate, they are these Egyptian months and become Hebrew months, and Hebrew calendar is not just lunar; it's solar. It's solar and lunar. The world of Asaya is the lowest world, where there's flesh and physicality, and that has to do with the realm of demons. But it's flesh, and then what's underneath flesh, which is demons. Then you have in psychology, you can call it, just the 3D world, or science, just call it the physical world. And then you have what other traditions might refer to as the substantial world, having to do with the Sephir of Malkuth, which is the kingdom. So then you have the world above that, which is the world of Yetzirah, Yetzirah Olam. Olam means world, So Yetzirah Olam, Yetzirah is foundation. And so in psychology it would be the foundation, or if in just regular, talking about like, reaching self-actualization, Maslow's laws and all that, it's the same thing. And then you go to the more, the other traditions where you have Yetzirah being unsubstantial. It corresponds to air, whereas the one on the bottom, Messiah, corresponds to earth. Yud He Vav He, king, queen, princess, father, mother, son, daughter, fire, water, air, earth. So you see this particular Hebrew God is made up of the elements of fire, water, air, and earth. Now, Kabbalistically, people are instructed to not worship a name. So it's referred to as Hashem, which means the name, because you can't, if you say the name, you've already degraded it. It's already not it. It's already not God when you name it. It's already degraded. So, not even one of my instructors had mentioned that we shouldn't worship anything like that. Even he said once, lest we worship the Yud, to not even worship the Yud. The Yud. All right, so just to get an idea, above Yetzirah, in the world of water, the queen scale, you have Bria in Hebrew, Olam, that's the world, Olam, Bria, which is the archetypal world, if you're talking about psychology. And then it's called the divine substantial in some of the other traditions. And that's where we have archangelic beings, and we have, the archetypes of gods and goddesses, archangels, those kind of things. Then the top world is Absolute. And Absolute is fire, and that's just the power of creation, the creative force called Boré. And that is where we have self-realization and self-actualization, and then we have that being the divine unsubstantial. It's fire. So these are how this is gotten to. So when someone says what comes around goes around and yada yada yada, just understand that you're not always going to get a reaction that's exactly the way you think. It's not going to be exactly the opposite. It's not going to be exactly the same. Like if you're nice, someone isn't going to be nice in the same way. And if you're confrontational, they're not going to be confrontational in exactly the same way. And that's because everybody's a great sphinx of various and sundry of these creatures and these elements that create us. We're great sphinxes created by the Creator. So just understand that since the world of Asaya is very different from the world of Absolute, and it's not just substantial versus unsubstantial. It's unsubstantial that's not divine. It's corporeal versus divine unsubstantial. So just understand that when things are more precise and complicated than people would like them to be. But just understand that Creator has only your highest good in mind, and as long as you look for what is the good in a situation, you'll know what God is trying to do for you. Never mind the tools, which are we human creatures. Never mind the tools He uses. Because you think you're going to get rewarded, or you're going to get injured for something, or you're going to get punished or rewarded, and if I do this, will I be rewarded? If I do this, will I be punished? It's not about punishment and reward with Creator. It's about your just like when a sculptor makes a sculpture and has to cut and paint. That's what's going on. So it's not always comfortable for the piece being created, now is it? But ultimately it will be for its highest happiness. So just see it like that, and you'll understand. If you're worried about punishment and reward, that's one way of looking at it, but that's not really always exactly what's going on. So regarding connecting with that higher part of Absolute, connecting one's God self to receiving monies becomes ever more fun and adventurous while remaining dignified during an astrological progression where combining Sunstone with Aquamarine unites astrology archangelic forces known to Virchiel and also Amethyst, the 12th house, its 5th house, natural 5th house, and natural 12th house attributes, receiving businesses into a time of revival and refreshment, and it can invigorate businesses that are great and small back into being more motivated, really. And it gives an exuberance and a force of your willpower to allow for spiritual development of your very soul, destined for prominence in the world to come. Experiential divine illumination is projected from within the soul and the soul self, then being reflected back towards any individual monad based on purpose and intent as well as attitude. Always very important, the attitude. The sacral, crown, and third eye chakras are reinvigorated in celestial surroundings, with March's gemstone expecting you to provide immeasurably pleasant experiences for yourself and for others as well. Now, Virchiel's health and fitness transmission. Health centers on complementing upper supernal realms such as crown and third eye chakras through objectively manifesting situations via sacral chakra vortex assertions from divine principle towards physicality, ascending up into more fruitful dimensions, which through well applied chakra healing and these types of chakra techniques where you use the vortex of the chakras, it creates sort of a timeless consciousness. And it also creates an ability to be timeless but also substantial, and that's what it has to be done in order to reach the highest worlds of Absolute. The Kabbalistic assertions stating that Keter is in Malkuth, and we said we get to this, and Malkuth is in Keter, find a place via 12th house attributes, since March's zodiac sign of Pisces, ruling planets are concerned with both the feet and the head due to correspondences with Jupiter and Neptune respectively. Remembering that Jupiter associates with the sacral chakra to stabilize the entire energetic organism expressed in 10 Kabbalistic Sephirotic dimensions. You will find the energetic frequencies of Sunstone and Aquamarine motivating, invigorating, refreshing during March, causing you to feel more able to accomplish all the things you set your mind to accomplish, especially when it comes to the areas of mind, body, and soul healthfulness. Your sacral chakra is considered to be all-important during 12th house sojourns for the principle of establishing fulcrums towards leveraging what might often be thought to be hypocritical in attempts to express myriads of anxiety-provoking, ascending lifestyles, mixed in with outrageously passionate, almost degrading lifestyles. In other words, aspirations for being real or pragmatic or realistic, as people might say, might at times appear to conflict with ambitions for a soul's recognition of one's own personal godhood. And that's what a lot of people feel is important. Astrocartographic arrangements currently as well as at birth must be revealed if a holistic style of unveiling one's inner nature is truly desired. Disclaimers in order here. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Thank you for joining us. Join us again.
you.